Hello, Nutrition Newsletter subscribers. I'm doing something a little different this month. I'm hoping this provides a little bit more of a personalized touch to the newsletter. This month, I also felt like it was very important to talk about an issue that has been coming up repeatedly lately. There's definitely a trend I've seen in vitamin A, and you need to know the truth about vitamin A so that you can make the most informed decision for your health. So this month, my vlog is on the importance of whole food vitamin A and the dangers of retinol palmitate, the synthetic form that you get in supplements. This came about recently because I worked with a medical doctor as a client a few weeks ago. And she's had some pretty severe gut issues that have gone on for quite some time. So we did a complete gut test. We took a look at her gut microbiome, some inflammatory metabolites that were present in her gut. And one of the things that came back that she needed more of was vitamin A. And when I told her this, her immediate reaction was one of fear. So I explained the difference between retinol palmitate, the synthetic form of vitamin A, and whole food-based retinol, and how vitally important this is for your gut health, for your cellular differentiation, for your ability to even use vitamin D for your immune system to help protect you against autoimmune diseases, your vision, your lungs, and so many other organs in the body, and how your body actually has a built-in mechanism that will prevent vitamin A toxicity when you take it in the right form. But if you take a synthetic form, you actually can overdose on it. And after hearing this, she was on board and was excited to incorporate vitamin A into her gut healing protocol. And she thanked me. She said, I really appreciate you describing the difference between these two nutrients, the same nutrient, just the different form. Because I was taught in school that vitamin A was one of the most dangerous nutrients to take and that just about no one should be supplementing with it. She said, we're taught that it's toxic to the liver and that it's so easy to overdose and that it can cause birth defects if women take too much during pregnancy. I shared with her some studies on children who consume foods that are rich in vitamin A, and they have shown no sign whatsoever of vitamin A toxicity because the body is able to regulate and control these things. And she had never heard of it. And this was a medical doctor. And she would have immediately shut down the idea of taking this nutrient had she not known there is a vitally important difference between the two. I was also at a health conference this weekend and vitamin A came up again, but my husband had a conversation with another medical doctor who works out of a practice, and she was blown away at all of the information that she was learning about vitamin A. And she shared with him that they aren't even allowed to discuss vitamin A in their practice. It's essentially outlawed because these doctors are so in fear of vitamin A, but it is so misinformed and incorrect, and it needs to be addressed because our food guidelines are actively encouraging a potential vitamin A deficiency and birth defects as a result of it per their vitamin A recommendations. So let's break this down. I picked up one of the Weston A. Price Foundation's specialty editions at this event, and it so happened to have a very important conversation on vitamin A. This topic keeps appearing, so it only feels right to share it with you because you need to be informed to make the best decisions for your health. So it starts with a discussion on vitamin E. This article was written by Chris Masterjohn. He's a PhD in biochemistry, incredibly smart in terms of nutritional biochemistry and mechanism. And he discusses how in 1922, it was discovered that vitamin E, tocopherols, were one of the most important nutrients for supporting pregnancy. Later, it was discovered that vitamin A was even more important for not just pregnancy. Vitamin A itself plays an essential role in the growth and development of the fetus. It is the activator and what turns on and off genes. It basically is needed to guide the cells to differentiate. We need vitamin A ongoing throughout the rest of our lives, even after the gestation phase when we're still within the womb. But there's no other time in life when your body needs to differentiate cells more so than the gestation period. And differentiation means essentially determining what's going to be a liver cell and what's going to be a brain cell. Vitamin A is essential for guiding this process. It's also essential for our immune system, and it helps to regulate our autoimmunity. It's necessary for vitamin D to be bioavailable. So if you don't have enough vitamin A, you can take all the vitamin D that you want, but your cells won't actually be able to take it in and use that vitamin D. You need vitamin A to produce mucus and all of the mucosal production within your body. In your lungs, it's necessary for producing the cilia that help sweep and cleanse the lungs. It helps keep your eyes lubricated. It helps keep your skin healthy and the keratinocytes in your skin producing keratin and maintaining a healthy skin barrier. It's also important for the development of a skeleton during gestation as well. Vitamin A plays a role in just about every system of the body. Now, we hear that vitamin A is toxic and it is dangerous. And this comes from misinformed and misguided information in the research, particularly related to pregnancy. So the RDA recommendations for vitamin A is 2,300 IUs per day, 2,600 IUs during pregnancy, only 300 IUs more. West NA Price Foundation recommend 20,000 IUs per day, so about 10 times more than what the RDA suggests. And the conventional medical community warns pregnant women that a high intake of vitamin A can cause birth defects. So this article, it reads, this belief can be traced to a single study published in 1995 that purportedly found an increase in the risk of birth defects among mothers consuming more than 10,000 IUs per day. There are several important flaws in this study. Every other study published on the subject showed this amount of vitamin A to be safe. Indeed, one major study of over 25,000 births showed that daily doses of vitamin A up to 40,000 IUs cut the risk of birth defects in half. And yet women are told and doctors are taught that vitamin A is dangerous and you need to avoid it, especially during pregnancy. One of the processes that I walk through with my preconception, prenatal, and fertility clients is auditing their supplements, because what you'll find in many prenatals is some vitamin A, but it is in the toxic form of vitamin A. Now, this is true that 10,000 IUs per day of vitamin A might be associated with birth defects, but that is in regards to the wrong form of vitamin A, the synthetic form. This article goes on to discuss 4 other studies. One of them where women consumed up to 50,000 IUs per day. They were not associated with birth defects during pregnancy. And he writes, the preponderance of the evidence clearly favors the view that 20,000 to 25,000 IUs of vitamin A during pregnancy is safe and may even reduce the risk of birth defects. So how did we get this so wrong? Why are doctors terrified of vitamin A, and why are pregnant women told to avoid this and scared to take vitamin A out of fear of harming their baby, when in fact, not having sufficient vitamin A will result in birth defects? Well, this is where the difference between whole food nutrition and synthetic nutrition makes all the difference in the world. Several studies have looked at communities in Africa whose primary food in childhood, these children are eating liver. Liver is a naturally high source of vitamin A. In fact, these kids eat so much liver that the amount of vitamin A they're consuming far exceeds the tolerable upper limit for vitamin A intake. They have done studies on these children. They've looked at their blood markers, their liver health, their symptoms that would be related to vitamin A overload or toxicity, and none of these children show any signs or symptoms of vitamin A toxicity. The reason for this is because your liver essentially has a built-in mechanism preventing it from over-absorbing vitamin A as retinol, the preformed vitamin A that's found only in certain forms of animal meat. And this built-in mechanism will prevent the absorption of vitamin A to the point that would cause toxicity. Retinol palmitate, on the other hand, the synthetic form that's made in a lab that looks very similar to vitamin A as a chemical structure, it actually bypasses this mechanism. So if you're supplementing with high dose synthetic vitamin A, you can absolutely and very quickly end up with a vitamin A toxicity or overload. This is why cod liver oil has been such a predominant supplement that has been used for centuries and probably was common in your grandmother's medicine cabinet. Whenever you were sick, she probably would whip out a tablespoon of cod liver oil and make you choke it down. Cod liver oil is nature's highest source of naturally occurring vitamin A. It also has a high amount of naturally occurring vitamin D, as well as omega-3s, including EPA and DHA, but also other important omega-3s like ESA, DPA, DSA, and other eicosanoids, which haven't been as well studied as EPA and DHA, but play a vital role in this entire anti-inflammatory omega-3 complex. So again, we see when we get foods in their whole food, natural form, the impact that it has on our health can be the difference between a healthy life versus vitamin A overload. Now, the caveat would be something like polar bear liver. It is extremely high in vitamin A, and people have reported vitamin A toxicity as a result of eating polar bear liver, but most of us are not consuming even cow liver, so I don't think we need to be concerned about anyone eating polar bear liver. The foods that we eat on a regular basis contain the right balance and ratios that our body knows what to do with. When we try to isolate those nutrients and produce them in a lab in a form that looks close enough to nature and take them in isolation, we can end up making ourselves more sick than we were to start with. So yes, this doctor that I worked with was right to be concerned with the recommendation of vitamin A. But what I get so hung up on is the fact that people don't know. Your doctors don't know the difference between real food and these synthetic poisons that do cause problems. The same is true for so many other nutrients. And this is why, with my clients, one of the first things we do is a full supplement audit to figure out, do you actually need the things that you're taking, but never were really guided on how to eliminate things or determine what is actually right for your physiology? Is it the right form of the nutrient? Is it the right dose? Is it in forms and ratios that your body actually recognizes and knows how to use? It's not just vitamin A, it's magnesium. There are over 13 different forms of magnesium, and some of them have the complete opposite effect of supporting your body's magnesium status. They work more as a laxative. They're not even absorbed. And I've seen clients whose doctor has recommended they take magnesium citrate or oxide to boost their magnesium status, and those are the least bioavailable forms of this nutrient. B vitamins are another example. 70% of the population have a mutation in the gene that basically converts B vitamins into their bioactive form, the MTHFR gene. And if you have this and you're taking just cobalamin or folic acid, you're not actually going to be able to use those B vitamins efficiently and like you should. And this can slow entire processes down in the body. Same is true for iron. Your body prefers iron from whole food sources as opposed to synthetic iron chelates that can cause constipation or make oxidative stress even worse. And if you don't have the supporting cofactors, for all of these nutrients to be used effectively in the body, then you still end up with health issues because the nutrients you're taking aren't bioavailable. It's kind of a silly thing that we need to think about nutrients in such a scientific and left brain oriented sort of way. We're the only species that rely on someone else to tell us how to eat food, but we have adulterated our normal eating habits and behaviors so much, and we've depleted our food of so many healing nutrients that it's now necessary. And if you don't understand if the supplements that you're taking are actually working and supporting your health and your body and giving you the life-giving benefits that they offer, a blood test with someone who understands how to interpret your body's preferences and needs for certain nutrients, as well as assess excessive intake or overload, this is how you optimize your health. We no longer live in a world where we can do this naturally and count on the normal natural cycles around us. And so, by getting back to these natural processes as closely as we can, this is how we heal our body. There's significant overlap between vitamin A and other symptoms. So, whenever I'm working with a client on my symptom questionnaire form, one of the things I'm looking for are, do you have bumps on the back of your arm? Do you have dry skin or cracking lips or cracking skin, especially in the wintertime? Do you have night vision problems and or dry eye or any sort of vision issues? And then layered on top of this, are there any sort of gut issues going on? These are the top indicators that you might have a vitamin A insufficiency. Vitamin A plays a very important role in skin health. I used to have keratosis pilaris, the bumps on the back of your arm, very bad. Once I started taking vitamin A as cod liver oil, it completely went away. I see this very often, such as my medical doctor client who needed vitamin A for gut support. You can't make SIGA in the gut without sufficient vitamin A. And this is a very important immunoglobulin that helps protect your gut against pathogens and inflammation. You also need it for mucus production. The most common disease that results from vitamin A deficiency is called xerophthalmia. And this is where the eye, the actual cornea of the eye, it no longer expresses the clear cells that should be present in the cornea. They actually shift and become keratinocytes, skin cells, essentially. And your eyes become very dry. They kind of grow over with a layer of skin, and it's an extremely painful and irreversible condition. Vitamin A is the nutrient that prevents this from happening and keeps those cells functioning as they should. It plays a vital role in cellular differentiation. You need it to continue supporting your eyes, your lungs, your immune system, your gut health. In the gut, this same scenario can happen. So in these rats that were fed vitamin A deficient diets, what they found was the goblet cells of their gut, which should actually be producing mucus, and the mucus of the gut is what lubricates the entire interior and houses your gut microbiome. These cells also switched from goblet cells to keratinocytes, which are skin cells. So the inside of their gut started to look like the outside of their body. And when that happens, when you don't have mucus, you don't have gut microbes. And when you don't have gut microbes, an entire cascade of events takes place because of how involved they are in regulating our health. And when your gut tissue becomes like skin, you can't absorb nutrients that you're eating from food. Vitamin A is so important for your health. And I don't want you to be scared into not taking it, but I also want to make sure that you know the right form of vitamin A to take and the right amount for you. Vitamin A as cod liver oil is part of my daily supplement stack. I don't take all of my supplements every day, but I take cod liver oil every day. Be careful. A lot of cod liver oil supplements on the market, they break down the naturally occurring vitamin A and D during the manufacturing process. So they're exposed to heat, bleaching, and all sorts of harsh compounds that can actually destroy these vitamins and minerals. So if you flip it over and you see retinol palmitate, or vitamin D3 added to it, that is not a quality supplement to take. I take the Formula IQ cod liver oil. It is the highest naturally occurring vitamin A and D cod liver oil that you're going to find. And it's good quality, has omega-3s in it still, and maintains only natural vitamin A and D. So this is a great option if it's something you wanted to add to your stack. Of course, I always recommend you need blood work before adding in supplements and to help you determine what to take out, what you don't need. If this is something you're interested in, of course, this is the work that I do with clients. We run a very inexpensive blood panel, take a look at what your body needs, align that and overlap it with your lifestyle, your medical history, your symptoms, your health goals, and create a fully personalized protocol to figure out how to support your body and give it what it needs from a food first perspective, the form that our bodies actually want and know how to use. I hope that you enjoyed this different take on the nutrition newsletter this month. I think I'm going to start doing more of these vlog style synthesis of information. You can turn it on while you're in your car, take in some information, learn how to optimize your health and nutrition status in a personalized way. And if you want to learn more, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to run a functional blood panel, determine the precise amount of key nutrients and the right forms that your body needs to thrive. I hope you give the recipe this week a try as well. It's very tasty, very appropriate for March with those radishes and celery, very seasonal. And I will see you next month.